what we're gonna basically do is do three traits about him. He's strong, he's athletic too, like Spider-Man, but then also he's lethal. So that's what we're gonna do. So as far as lethal, the exercises are gonna probably consist of a lot of pain, strength, and then probably endurance for the athleticism part. This is going to be very interesting. I haven't created the workout yet. I'm going to actually write it down in my notes on the way to the gym. It's like a 30-minute drive, and then we're going to go from there. But you guys let me know who you guys want to see next time. Let's get this started. Okay, guys, starting off the workout with flat dumbbell presses. So I already did my warm-ups, warmed up my shoulder, warmed up my chest, and I basically already did some warm-ups with the dumbbell pressing. This is probably maybe a working set, but in reality, it just still felt like a warm-up, which was surprising to me. If I have to admit, I do so much warming up for my chest sometimes that when I go into these heavier movements, like I really can't dish out a whole lot of weight, which is fine to me because I feel like as long as I get really good squeezes, I'm getting such a great pump, and the intensity is so high, and I have to focus 10 times more. So that's why I don't mind. But today I'm like, no, I'm going to do a little bit less of that. Make sure that at least my shoulders, my elbows, everything's warmed up. And I'm going to put up some weight. But this actually felt very natural. 80 pounds usually is very, very heavy. And today felt just very, very light. I had so much control. I'm making sure that as I'm going down, that I'm feeling a stretch across my chest. I usually just recommend that you guys go as low as you guys feel comfortable, okay? As you guys can see here, still in the middle of my sets, just to be careful. I didn't really feel anything, but just to be careful and to make sure that I'm feeling good and making sure that my body's good, is that I still did these little stretches in the middle of my sets to increase more of a pump, but also to make sure that all of this blood, everything is just is moving across my body. That's extremely important, and I do recommend that you guys do it too. It feels great. It really does help the pump. It helps to get a better mind-muscle connection, and also safety reasons. At this point, I'm doing 90 pounds, and as you guys can see, I'm really trying to I'm thinking like, man, like this is a lot of weight. But again, we're doing it based off Venom, so the first part basically is all of it is just purely just focusing on strength. But as you guys can see, I'm still trying to focus on that stretch, making sure I'm still getting good squeezes. And that's, again, just because, we want to dish out some weight and look fancy, we still have to do everything at the best of our ability. By this point, I could say in reality, this is my first real set because the 80 pounds still felt like a warm-up. This felt amazing. And I felt completely fine still doing it. There was still a struggle, but there was like no dramatic pump, but it still felt great. If you guys feel like that, I would say continue doing your sets. So then I'm like, you know what, let me just go straight into the 100s. I will toot my own horn and say this was the heaviest weight at the gym. I probably wouldn't have gotten any heavier than this. But as you guys can see right here, I did go to failure. But again, this is all strength. This is all just, okay, what can my chest really handle? Sometimes I guess you guys can say that you guys won't feel a dramatic pump, and that's completely fine as long as you guys have that control over your chest. You guys can see I'm really still, even though it's heavy, I'm still trying to make sure that those dumbbells are going down and stretching my chest. And as long as you guys are doing that for this exercise, I'd say you guys are good. At the bottom right there, I force my chest to take all that weight and to stretch down. So since this was still, usually when I do a heavy set like that, I'll go down some weight. I'm like, no, again, this is a Venom day, so we have to still dish out what we can. I'm like, I got one more set in me, so I ended up doing the set again. This is just a little advice also too. Remember, just because it's flat doesn't mean we're just targeting, you could say, the middle of our chest. When I'm doing this, I'm trying to stretch down to where I feel the middle part of my chest, but also the upper part of my chest as well. When developing your chest, you want to develop everything. You want to make sure that you're growing every part of your chest. Nothing's being neglected, okay? So that's just my advice with that. This was probably altogether my 5th set or 4th. Don't quote me right now. But this honestly felt amazing. I loved being able to dish out this weight, and I felt actually genuinely amazing. And this is actually the first time that I went into an exercise purely saying I'm going to dish out a whole lot of weight. Right after this, I went down to the 80 pounds. And you guys can see here, personally for me, what I wanted to do, because I went back and looked at my videos, I wanted to stretch my chest even more. I went into this set thinking I want to go lower. That's just because I wanted to feel that. You know what I'm saying? Some people have shoulder problems. I would recommend you guys just control the weight the best of your ability. But for me, I felt like seeing those videos, I'm like, yeah, I could have went lower. So here, that's what I did. I forced myself to go lower. Okay, so now we're going into, I guess you could say, we're going to go with the lethal part of the workout. So right here, we're going to be basically focusing on squeezing the chest as hard as we can, incline. I put myself in a position to where, because again, for me, like I said before, I used to do a lot of where I would put myself in a position where I was feeling way too much of my shoulders, because I felt like, wait, I feel the middle part of my chest, overthinking. Okay, so here on the way down, if you guys feel that stretch go along the upper part of your chest and the middle, which I do recommend beginners do, that's fine, because at the end of the movement you're going to end up feeling that good squeeze across the upper part of your chest. That's fine. Right after we get really good squeezes, now we're going to go ahead and stretch the chest. Right here, as you guys can see, I'm taking a moment and I'm trying to control my breathing. When doing supersets, this is extremely important. I know we want to focus on intensity, but we also want to do efficiency. I don't want that I pick this up and then I'm put it down and I can't even breathe. If you can't breathe, the muscle doesn't breathe. You understand me? If you guys look at my grip, this is what I do when I bench press. This is me personally. Is that I guess they call it a suicide grip. But basically, I just place the bar against my my palms. I feel like I get a way better for bench pressing. I get way better control over my chest entirely, and also amazing squeezes. If you guys look also, I'm not doing traditionally a normal grip or a normal like width. I basically like to go nice and wide. I personally feel like I just get so much better control over my chest entirely, but also because, the man Arnold Schwarzenegger, my man, he just put that in my mind where I'm like, man, those wide grips are just that's how I learned to grow my chest personally. If you guys aren't comfortable with that, that's fine, but I just do that because it feels good to me. Okay, from this angle, I want you guys to also pay attention to something. Sometimes people flare out their elbows way too high. Here, if you guys look, my elbows are slightly going into my body. That's what's gonna help you guys to get those squeezes in, because if your elbows are way too high, your shoulders will be, they will take over that exercise. And with incline movements, that's not what we want. We of course want that good shelf of a chest. So that's basically with exercises. Even now I'm learning, I have to keep my elbows a little bit more inward. That's just me, because I notice that I'll either get too much of a pump in my shoulders or I get shoulder pain. So lately I've been doing that, and it just feels so much better. If you guys look here also, the width is again nice and wide, making sure that I'm taking a good pause at the bottom for maybe a second, maybe 2 seconds. But here, I definitely was dying. And if you guys see also, a big thing with all of these movements that I always say is that I don't come up all the way. I don't fully lock out my arms. In doing that, your shoulders will be engaged, and so will your elbows, okay? Or your triceps. By this point, I really did have an amazing pump, and it was amazing. I cannot tell you guys how amazing this pump felt. I felt like I had a shelf of a chest. But again, the only way you guys really get that is honestly when you guys truthfully are taking your time, and in the middle of my sets I'm taking like 2 minutes, okay, because I want efficiency. Yeah, we want intensity. Yeah, we want to be, I guess you guys could say, badasses, but you also got to be efficient. You know, I don't want that I go into an exercise and I can only do 6. I was trying to make sure that my body did everything I possibly could. For here, this is also another tip that I wanted to put to you guys. My butt was not completely against that seat. I kind of slid off a slight bit, and that was just because I felt like I was going to get more of a squeeze across the middle and upper part of my chest. I feel like I'm getting better at developing my upper chest by also aiming for the middle. So that's me. Okay, guys, now we're going into a mixture of endurance and strength. So right here, I'm going to be doing, again, another superset, and kind of focusing on that strength and that endurance portion of the exercise. If you guys look, again, I'm kind of doing a wider grip. That's just me, again, because I feel like I get way better stretching for bench pressing. Again, I feel like because I get such a great stretch, I can have a way better mind-muscle connection. And then also, I still get really good squeezes. Some people say, "Oh no, you can't there's no way you can squeeze your chest." I can. I really make sure that on the way up, I'm focusing. I'm at a point now where it's more and more natural. But before, it was like the main thing I only really felt was the stretch in my chest. And that's what I recommend to you guys. If you guys can't feel that squeeze, that's completely fine. Focus on that stretch. Right after that, I went into body weight dips. Somebody did ask me a while ago how I perform these. I go as low as I possibly can. I kind of lean my body forward to where I feel a stretch across my chest. Some people just stay in this position where they keep their body like upright. I try to, if you guys see right here, on the way down, I put my body slightly forward. That way, my whole chest takes over that stretch on the bottom. And then as I'm coming up, I kind of slightly put my body upward. I'm trying to focus on squeezing the whole chest as I do that. I'm thinking about the upper, middle, and bottom portion. At the end of the movement, I'm thinking of the bottom portion. That's the way that I do them. I don't get a whole lot of reps in, and I try to dish them out as quickly as I can, efficiently, okay? I will say that I'm surprised at how I bench pressed today, because after everything, I didn't expect that I was going to be dishing out a whole lot of weight. But here, this to me, for me, I'm saying, was heavy. Was light. Usually it's pretty heavy. But I really was able to feel everything. I was able to feel the good squeezes across the middle and upper part of my chest, and I felt completely fine. I felt like if I wasn't going to go into a superset, I could have done more reps, but I wanted to save it still for these dips. Okay, this is just a different angle that you guys can see. I take my time. Again, I'm controlling my breathing, making sure I'm taking at least 40 seconds before I end up going into the set. And if you guys look, I'm trying to go as low as I can. And as I'm coming up, I'm and again, I'm not locking out my arms. I'm trying to squeeze my chest. Sometimes I do halvesies, like really, really strong halvesies, and that's just so that my chest can go ahead and get more of a stretch. If you guys cannot get that squeeze in, focus on that stretch. Now again, like I said already, I'm surprised I was able to be as strong as I am, or was today. I was able to dish out this 225, which I rarely ever do. I probably do if I'm being honest, I probably last year did 225 maybe twice, 3 times at max. But here again, I'm focusing. I'm trying to go as low as I can, right where the bar goes right above my nipple. And then that's when I come up from there. And I do not lift my butt from the seat. I'm trying to focus that my chest takes over everything completely. Because I didn't get all that many reps in, I wanted to do a drop set. You know, I'm trying to make sure that my chest is obliterated by the end of this workout. I just encourage you guys to do that. Here, because, you know, I guess you could say time is limited, I made sure that I dished out whatever I could. And if I could, I would have gone for like 15 reps. But my chest was not going to allow me. But if you guys look, naturally, if you guys pay attention, my chest is contracting on the way up. And you guys see how I do those little pauses at the bottom? I'm trying to force my chest to stretch. I keep imploring you guys about the stretching and exercises, but that's only going to benefit you at the end of the day, because that's how muscle works. You need to stretch and contract it. You can't just squeeze. That's not how muscles truthfully fully develop. And if anything, the negative for a lot of exercises, that's what actually destroys the muscle most times. And then I still went and I did my body weight dips. I couldn't do all that much, but man, I can say for me personally, the pump was amazing. This was gonna be my last exercise. You guys will see what the last one was. But here I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just focus on pain and squeezing. I did 25 reps. I remember at the beginning of my journey in bodybuilding, I used to do a lot of reps for everything, especially for cable flies, pectoral flies, and even dumbbell flies. And I really felt like that's what really helped me to get better mind-muscle connections. That's why I'm so infatuated with flies. But here, I did 25 reps. And if you guys can kind of see, I'm trying to focus on when I start squeezing, and even just throughout the end of the movement, I do squeeze the bottom portion of my chest, but also I'm trying to make sure that I'm creating a shelf, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to focus on that squeeze at the top of my chest and at the bottom. All together, I'm trying to get that full contraction. That way my chest is fully being developed, because if you're just trying to target one part, I learned very early on, that's not how the chest should work. My coach always used to tell me, he's like, no, squeeze the whole chest, and I didn't understand what that meant, because I'm like, if this is a decline movement, why am I going to be squeezing this part? But in the long run, I noticed that it just helped first of all, to get through the exercise, because you're not focusing as much, you're just trying to focus on squeezing your chest, but also just helps in full development. You understand? People don't understand that actually decline movements also work on the upper part of your chest. So for those of you who are lacking, or who started off like me where my front delts overpowered my body, I recommend that you guys go into exercises with that type of mentality. Now we have come to the horrible finisher. Spider-Man push-ups. If you guys look, see, I failed right away. I don't do a lot of push-ups. I did at the beginning of my journey. I don't do a lot of them. I do them sometimes for finishers, but I felt like it was only appropriate to do Spider-Man push-ups for the end of this exercise. Surprisingly enough, I could feel a stretch along my chest, and I still could feel a squeeze. On the way up, if my hand that was further away from my body, I could feel the upper part of my chest, and the hand that was closest to my body, I felt the bottom portion. So I felt a stretch on the way down, and I focused on that. I know some people just say like, hey, just whatever you got left, just go. No, I wanted to still focus. I'm stubborn like that. I said, no, chest, you will do what I tell you to do. Honestly, I as much as I hated these because I fatigued so badly and I was kind of out of breath, I really loved these. These were actually pretty fun to do. They were they were a challenge, and I think that was the best part about this whole exercise, this whole workout, was how challenging everything was, and thinking about what I was going to do, why I was going to do it. And I felt like I haven't had a really good chest day where I was utterly pushing myself to my limits in such a long time. So right here, you guys can kind of see a little bit better angle. I probably did these very ugly. Maybe I did them wrong, but again, like I said, I never really do things like this. But for you guys and for the sake of this video, I said, you know what, no, I gotta do these. So you see that arm goes forward. I felt upper part, but the hand that's closest to me, I'm thinking bottom. That's me, okay? If you guys can't really do that, I don't recommend it. Right here, I took a moment, and you guys can see I'm squeezing my chest. I'm like, no, I'm gonna force a little bit more blood. That way it was more mind muscle connection, more pain, more just everything. But I left everything here. I did 3 sets here. That's as much as I could do. I really love these, and I might end up doing them again just for a normal chest day. They were amazing. Man, if you guys can get through these, if you guys can do more sets, please comment. Let me know how you guys felt doing these, because I hated them. I was utterly dying. My girlfriend was encouraging me, but man, these sucked, but I loved them.
Right there, right there.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really, really appreciate it. You guys have no idea. Please comment what you guys liked about it. Please comment what you guys don't like about it. You know, your criticism is noted. Please subscribe, because there will be videos coming out weekly, and hit that bell so that you guys are notified every single time that a new video is out. I really appreciate all the love. And I really appreciate that every week I'm at least getting 10 subscribers. That's awesome, and that's only motivating me to bring out more content. You guys let me know what you guys want to see more of. I will see you guys next week.